Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Nina Resetkova. I'm a physician here at Boston IVF, and I'm joining you today in celebration of National Infertility Awareness Week. I'm joined today by one of our amazing, kind nurses, Kris DeSimone. Welcome, Kris.
Hi, Nina.
Hi. So with it being National Infertility Awareness Week, we wanted to start off by welcoming everybody and just having a really open discussion about awareness. Awareness of infertility and awareness of some of special folks who utilize infertility services, which are the LGBTQ populations. So Kris and I are both part of Boston IVF's LGBTQ planning committee. So we focus on issues pertaining to the community and ways to improve care delivery to the community. And we've learned a lot about the community and awareness of the community and the needs. And we're working on educating all of our Boston IVF team on focusing our services and optimizing them for all of our patients and the community. So that's our jumping off point for today. Kris and I are just going to have a nice casual conversation and tell you a little bit about the work that we've been doing and why we feel this is so important for all of our patients.
Thanks, Nina. So I think, personally, I think the education part is super important, and it's important to all of us at Boston IVF that that we recognize, there's such a diverse array of sexual orientations and identifications, and to only think about one form of that or one representation makes everybody else invisible, and that's not what we're about. And frankly, it presents an inaccurate view of human sexuality. So we are working hard to try to take a look at inclusion and language and employee trainings. We're super excited to be working with Tristan Reese, who's formerly of Family Equality and Open Door Providers. So yeah, so we're doing this really, and you can chime in on this, Nina, too. This is really exciting. We're creating these like 3 modules with him that are specific to our population of patients, particularly LGBTQ plus. And if we don't move forward and continue to educate people and keep everybody awake and paying attention to what we're doing, then we inevitably will fail. We will marginalize somebody. We will make somebody feel insulted or less than or devalued, and that is not at all what we're about. And we feel strongly that every patient, regardless of their orientation or identification, every patient who walks into the doors of Boston IVF clearly sees that message. Everyone is welcome. We know how to take care of all of our patients really well. So yeah, I mean, I think what's exciting is we've been doing a lot of work looking at signage, making sure that we have gender neutral bathrooms in all of our facilities. We have these really great rainbow lanyards, which we love, because like this is like a visual piece that says we want everyone to be here. We are inclusive of everyone. And so yeah, we're also working on, we're getting some pronoun badges made. Some people have them already. We're looking at our educational material and like brochures and consent forms and registration forms, so that when people walk in here, they know that they're going to see themselves. They'll see themselves again in the signage and pictures. We don't need to have the man and the woman holding the baby saying like, "Oh, isn't this lovely?" We can stretch that out and we can make that more inclusive. And again, stock photos that reflect things like that we're taking a look at, and language. And we just feel really strongly like, the reason I love the LGBTQ plus committee is that we're really dedicated to creating an environment where every patient across the spectrum feels welcome, feels respected, and feels valued, because that's what it should be. That's the right thing. And love is love. And family building and families come in different shapes and sizes and colors and religions and ethnic backgrounds. But the truth of the day, at the end of the day, the truth is, we want our employees and we want every patient who walks in here to understand and get the message very clearly that we are incredibly dedicated to taking care of all patients across the spectrum. So it's fun to be part of this. And kind of what, my overview of what we've been kind of doing lately.
So Kris, that was a great overview, and I think one of the things that you touched on was the educational modules that we're working on. And you and I have taken some of these modules. They're very comprehensive, and so we're trying to spread this type of education to all of our staff and really focus it, because what you do and what I do and what somebody else does admitting patients to the front desk is going to be a little bit different, and there's going to be some unique issues that come up for everyone. So training everybody specifically to the kind of work that they do is going to be so imperative. And so we're actually designing some very focused educational modules for employees to help train them in their particular skill set to best help serve the LGBTQ patient population. So great insight. And I would also touch on some of the other things that we're doing. You mentioned it a little bit too, is working on all of our documentation, things like training modules, consent forms for people. So basically everybody does feel included, that they see themselves in all of our documentation and all of our materials. So this is an ongoing effort. We're working on it, and we're actively working on it. And we're just, I think, making huge strides in improving the process.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And again, I think it's one of those things where you see one thing and then suddenly, you see another. It's like I was talking to Emily and Dana about like I redid my bathroom, and it's kind of like look at the wall and you're like, I need to paint it, and then you paint the wall and you say, oh, I need a new vanity. Oh, that mirror is to your eyes, and you get this awareness. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You see one thing and then you're like, oh, I see another. Oh, we have to fix this. We have to like. So I mean, I think that there's, I think it's just this cascade of, but I think the really, really important message here is our eyes are open. We're wide awake. We are looking at these things. We're seeing them and we're addressing them, and we're very passionate and dedicated to changing them. But yeah, it takes a while, but it feels like I think we're making some really good progress. And I think as far as the training goes, I think that's a key element. And I think we really have to take a look really hard at like when somebody walks through the door again, what is your first interaction with the person in registration who's registering you? What does that registration form look like? If you're a transgender person, did somebody say, oh, your husband can wait in the car? Looking at assumed pronouns, looking at assumed any assumption. So I think that's where the educational piece is going to become really important. And again, like if many studies have said, like if you can be driving to work and you can say, well, for 25 years, I'm an ultrasonographer. I've been saying, okay, go to the ladies' room and empty your bladder before the ultrasound. If you do that 20 times on your way to work, sitting at a red light and say, go to the bathroom, go to the restroom, go to the washroom, then you will reprogram yourself to say these things. And there are a lot of things that we say redundantly over and over that are definitely not gender neutral. So I think, it's exciting. It's exciting to think about the ways in which we can move forward, avoiding assumptions and using preferred names. And but again, that's why we're working hard at creating these modules and training folks, and so good stuff.
And wouldn't you say, Kris, that we've learned so much from our patients, from being open and receptive to feedback? And now, just like you said, this cascade, now you start being more cognizant of some of the things that maybe are or are not working, and working off that to improve the experience for the next group of patients. Or my favorite is when a patient comes back a couple of years later and says, my goodness, I see such a marked improvement. And that is, that shows that our efforts are making a difference.
Nina, I think you're 100% right. And it's interesting you should say that, because you just happened to be one of the docs who 2 of your patients taught me really big lessons. And they were like, listen, this is, I came in and this was my experience and this is how it felt. And I realized that like, if our patients are our best resource. They are our best resource because they're on the receiving end. They're having the experience. We can look around all we want, but if they have the experience that's less than welcoming and inclusive and loving, and like we need to know that. yeah, a couple of your patients have brought things up, and we've made changes because of
Yeah.
that, which is lovely. So I think that that's something that I would love that message to come across to all of our patients, like, which is please know that in our efforts to do our best, you are the best critics of us. So know that your experience is so incredibly valuable to us. It's like golden. We can take that, learn from it, implement changes, and like you're saying, like, we try hard, but we're gonna miss stuff. We're gonna miss stuff with any population of patients we have. You know what I mean? So if we can have that feedback, and have our patients know that that is so valuable to us, I would welcome, any kind of constructive criticism. That's the only way we're gonna get really great at this, and hopefully become one day like a leader in LGBTQ and fertility. It's my hope.
That's definitely the hope and our goal. We obviously have done a lot of things to pave the way for fertility preservation for transgender patients. There's some leading studies published out of our center for that. We're doing a lot of work in partner-assisted reproduction, reciprocal IVF for lesbian patients. And we're also doing a lot of work with male-male couples with egg donation and surrogacy. So these are big programs in our center. We have a lot of technical skill in these areas, very strong success rates, but we want to make sure that the experience is like you said, kind of even for everybody, and everybody feels welcome. And that's one thing that we've been really striving to work on and improve. And we've gotten some good feedback that things are looking good.
I like it. I think another important thing for us to do is to not, again, like, we're in the process of doing a lot of work, but I think once we get things more sort of solidly in place, we have to stay current.
Mm-hmm.
That can, mean things from conferences and workshops and ongoing trainings, and also having a presence at the bigger groups that support the LGBT community,
Absolutely.
like Provincetown Family Week, GLSEN, the Fenway Dinner, HRC. I think my hope is that we continue to move forward, because this is it's an evolution. Terminology changes. There's so many things that we have to sort of, that's why I'm so glad that we formed the LGBTQ committee, because we can make sure. And again, I think accountability is something that's important too. So sure, we can train everybody, but we have to have a way in which to have like a one-on-one conversation or retraining with someone. If we hear some kind of joke in the hallway, if we hear somebody make an assumption about somebody's a pronoun or somebody's preferred name or something that just doesn't feel inclusive, we have to be able to back that up and just not kind of let that go. We have to continue to, maintain that standard. So.
Well, absolutely. And it's all about continuous improvement. So sometimes if we say something, we may not even know it's challenging or offensive to somebody. So even just having somebody point that out, in a kind way, I think so, so many of us, we're here for the same goal. We want the best for our patients, but if we don't know, we can't improve on it. So having that, somebody pull you aside kind of in the hallway and give you a little bit of insight about that, or why it may come off not inclusive to folks, that's really helpful. It's a tough conversation to have, but it's such an important one.
I completely agree with you. And I think it can be done very delicately. And I think it can be prefaced by the fact that I think that we're all learning and we're all trying. And some people have more exposure than others. Some people are in different generations. But I don't think that there's anybody at Boston IVF that I've ever encountered that would be like maliciously sort of discriminatory. I don't. I think it's a misstep, it's a mistake. And with your patient, I always think this is kind of funny, because with your patient who was told to go to the ladies' room and then questioned the ultrasonographer and said, well, you said ladies' room, and I found that a little bit offensive. And she said, I didn't say ladies' room, I said women's room. which shows you the level, which, like, that is just, I don't know, like, I'm blind, you know what I mean? I'm kind of blind to this.
It all
So
comes down to education, I think. Education, kind of talking it through and learning, learning from our prior mistakes or even learning from mistakes that we didn't make, but we thought about making
right,
and talking through it and making sure that, we're supported. We know who to ask if we don't feel comfortable about something, and having that kind of support structure in place for people who want to learn, but just don't quite know how to get there.
that's right. I agree.
Yeah. So, Kris, what a wonderful discussion. And, we're, as Kris said, we're still working on it, but we feel that we are making some really good improvements. And we hope that if you are a patient of ours, that you get the opportunity to experience some of those. We are so thrilled to be talking on behalf of Boston IVF for National Infertility Awareness Week. And, we're here to help. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you're unsure, if you are in need of a fertility evaluation, but you're kind of thinking about it, you have some questions, we have a great team speaking to patients at the intake who can help you decipher some of those questions. And they can always use us as a resource too, if it's something pertaining to LGBTQ plus fertility care. So we, as the committee of Boston IVF, are always available to handle any kind of tough issues or concerns. We want to help. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we hope to take care of you someday.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, and we welcome your feedback.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.